Hi, everybody. How are you doing today? I certainly hope you're doing good. And I tell you what, I'm doing good too. Glad to be back in your midst once again. I tell you, it is truly a pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I really do appreciate it. And I would like to welcome all of you to another episode of TJ's Topics. That's right. And if you don't know me by now, pity. I am TJ, and it is certainly good to be with you once again. I consider it a joy, an honor, and a privilege to be able to come into your presence on any given occasion. Now, today I have another topic of interest that I would like to share with you for a few minutes. And before I give you the topic, let me just ask you something. Have you ever been played for food or made a fool out of by somebody? I'm sure you have. If you're older than 3, I know you have. We all have been made a fool out of by somebody at one time or another. And so that's pretty much what I'm discussing today. My topic is don't be a sucker all your life. That is what we are going to discuss very quickly. Don't be a sucker all your life, because you know what? There are a number of people out here who walk amongst us each and every day who are bona fide suckers and have been for pretty much all their lives. And they have no intention of changing. Some of them have gotten to the point now where they're satisfied with being a sucker, being a fool, or as some might call them, a damn fool. I mean, but do we really want to live our lives like that? I, for one, don't. And I'm sure most of you don't either. Now, what is a sucker? A sucker is basically a gullible or easily deceived person. Someone who can be duped, be tricked, fall for all types of craziness. I mean, you can get over on them easily. Now, I will give you one example, and a lot of you may be able to relate to this example. For those of you who watched Good Times, whether while it was in production on CBS back in the 70s or have seen reruns since they've been in syndication for pretty much going on 50 years now. You all know how Florida Evans was on the show, played by Esther Rolle. You know that she fell for practically everything that certain people told her. I would watch them all the time, and I would see how she would fall for a lot of stuff that JJ told her, Thelma told her, Michael, even James when he was on there. She was what you might consider as a sucker. I mean, because you could easily trick her into believing a lot of stuff. Now, and I hate to go in this route, in this direction, but Florida Evans was also a Christian woman on Good Times. And that seems to be the case with a lot of Christians. A lot of Christian people are suckers. Have y'all ever thought about that? You got a lot of people who sit up in church every Sunday and they believe everything that comes across that pulpit by the pastor or whoever the guest minister is. And they have been suckers for literally decades. I mean, they have fallen for the okie doke time and time again. I think about all of the years that I heard preachers say, you got to name it and claim it, you know, getting the people all hyped up in the service, tell them you got to turn around 3 times and you got to clap your hands so many times and jump up and down, reach up and grab it. And and here we are all these years later, and we're still waiting for the manifestation of the things that the pastors whom we sat under decades ago told us to believe God for, that our blessing was on the way, and we got to believe it, and we got to do this and do that, high five your neighbor and do all that. Wouldn't that make us out to be suckers? Wouldn't Look, if you're one of those people who have been there, you were a sucker too, because you fell for it at one time. You may not be involved in all that now. You may not go to church or nothing like that now, or be involved in any ministry. But if you were at one time involved or affiliated with any church or ministry, then you were a sucker. You you fell for that stuff. You believed that all the televangelists that we grew up watching on TV, telling us to send them money, and in doing so, we would reap a harvest, blessings coming down from above and all that. That was 20 or 30 years ago. And now that televangelist, he may be dead and gone. And you still waiting on that blessing. You a sucker. We all are. We all have been. So we don't have room to point the finger at anybody, because we all have been there. Now, of course, we know that a sucker can also be a piece of candy, a lollipop. We all enjoyed those as kids. And a sucker can also be an informal person, someone or something that is not specified by name. That can be a sucker. A sucker is typically a pushover, someone who you can just, like I said, get over on them. You can tell them anything, they'll fall for it. They say that there's a sucker born every minute, and that might be the case. They can be duped, conned, bamboozled, bluffed, or faked out in multiple ways. Hoodwinked, misguided, misled, spoofed, and even strung along by somebody. Like, for example, in relationships, you may have someone who is involved with a person, in a relationship, and that person is not serious about being with them. They're not going to marry them. They're not going to commit to them in any way. They're just stringing them along. And the person who is being strung along can't see it. They cannot see that they are being taken for a ride. And that's kind of sad. Everybody around them can see it, except them. And I tell you, it is so unfortunate how a lot of times people end up in situations like that. I think we've all found ourselves in a predicament of some kind, similar to that at one time or another. And it doesn't feel good, when people take advantage of you and they misuse you and they abuse you. And, they literally wreak havoc in your life. And if you're not careful, you will find yourself having invested so many years of your precious life, years that you can't get back, by the way, and the number of years that you don't know if you even have left in front of you, having wasted all that time on somebody who never cared anything about you to begin with. Who wants to go through something like that? Being a sucker for someone usually requires an individual to place someone, or perhaps even a group of people, trying to please them at the expense of their own morals, standards, beliefs, values and principles. You know, that's ridiculous. But some people do that kind of stuff, thinking that they're going to win brownie points with them. But little do they know, they're never going to get anywhere with them. But they're trying to please them, trying to make them happy. All that is for naught. Typically, they are not well respected by anyone except those who are narcissistic and are attention seekers. And I think we all know someone who is of that nature, a narcissist, and love and crave attention. You know, as a matter of fact, we have a president in the White House right now who is a narcissist and loves and seeks attention any and every way he can get it. We should never be a sucker for anyone under any circumstances. Besides, not everyone will like us, no matter what we do or how hard we try. You do the best you can. You go as far as you can for as long as you can. But when it's all said and done, there will still be someone out there who will not like you and won't accept you. And so there's no need in even bothering with those type of people. Don't even waste your time on them. Instead, we should focus on being the best we can be, utilizing the skills, gifts, and talents that we have been blessed with in order to do the best we can and trust that the right people who are genuine will come along and accept us for who we are and love us as a result. I mean, that's pretty much all we can do. And because being a sucker for anybody is never a good thing. It won't get you anywhere in life, that's for sure. And you definitely won't come to a good end having done so. So, with that being said, that concludes this discussion that we have had together. And I would like to offer you a word of advice, which of course goes back to today's topic. Don't be a sucker all your life, because I promise you, you won't get anywhere doing so. So I would like to say thank you very much for tuning in to this episode of TJ's Topics. And I hope that you will tune in again next time when we will have another good topic of interest. And there is no telling what that might be. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. This is Taryn Jerome Harris reminding you that every round goes higher and higher. I'll talk to all of you suckers out there later.